And gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another A-Leagues with 1-0 show. I'm very excited because I tell you what, the A-League and Melbourne Victory especially, they've got me excited. I'm excited. If you are new, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss another one of the videos in the channel. I might be hitting you with a possible vlog in the coming weeks or in the coming weekends or the coming days. I don't know. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a tasty show. Moment of the week that I'm going to hit you with. We're going to take a look back at some of the best moments and the best games from the last round, and we're going to preview the games in the future. So we'll go look at the past and the future, but we're here in the middle, here at 1-0. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Let's run that intro. That's right. Thank you for joining me. What is going on there? Sorry, excuse the mess, but we're going to look at the moment of the week, and maybe I'm being biased. Maybe I'm not. But tell me a little something. Jeez, it was good to be back at a stadium. If you're a Melbourne Victory fan or a Melbourne City, Western United were playing here at Amy Park, man, it was good to be back in the stadium. I went with Dad. It was my first place sort of going with off my crutches after surgery, whatever. But man, it was good. I was just sitting there, sort of just breathing it in. Darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, it was good, which takes me to the moment of the week, which is a strong and like very, very, very footballing good Melbourne Victory is the best thing for the A-League. I said it. That Melbourne Victory runs the A-League. Sorry, don't hate, don't dislike. But in all seriousness, and like biased hat away, Melbourne Victory being a good team and with players and a connection to the fans, which I feel like we're sort of already stemming 2 games into the season. I think it's the best for the A-League because we had 13,000 there on the weekend against Brisbane Roar. We played some unbelievable football. That third goal was awesome to watch. But with that sort of connection being built, it's something that we've lacked for the last 2-3 years. You get fans to the stadium. Richmond was buzzing. The lead up to the stadium was buzzing. Everyone was so excited. The weather was nice. We've got Perth Glory on Sunday night again here at Amy Park, which will be buzzing even more. I think with Melbourne Victory performing well, just adds that extra element to the A-League and actress because people don't like us. You know, we know the rivalries: Melbourne Victory versus Sydney, Melbourne Victory versus Adelaide, Melbourne Victory versus Melbourne City. If you even want to add it in there, we know how big these rivalries are, and with Melbourne Victory not performing well, sort of makes these rivalries a bit tasteless. But now with Victory and Tony Popovich, who we know people respect, but some other fans don't really like him because he's quite animated. I think it's the best thing for the A-League, and makes me really excited to see what Melbourne Victory can do this season, obviously because I'm a Victory fan, but B, sort of just the moments we can have this year, because I think we're going to have a lot of good, exciting moments. And I can tell that it was just an awesome atmosphere to be at Amy Park once again. Yes, a lot to do with it was excitement of being back in the stadium and watching a team live, but also the sense of it feels like a full refresh. It feels like we've just gone and gone, hey, let's just sweep what we had. Yes, it hasn't been pretty. We've brought in new players, some very, very, very great players, and players that the crowd can get behind. Jason Davidson, that guy works his butt off. Man, that guy doesn't stop. He's got blue hair, looks like a Papa Smurf, but hey, he doesn't stop. Kalava, the goalkeeper, he's one with the fans already becoming a cult hero. This is what we need. This is what we've been lacking, and it's what we need. So I'm very excited to see. Now we'll look more onto what happened in the A-League and not just Melbourne Victory. So I'll relax a little bit. But we'll go from one end. I mentioned Perth Glory will play Melbourne Victory this week, and we're going to look at Daniel Sturridge and a bit of controversy that surrounded that last week. Western United were playing at Amy Park. They usually play in Geelong. There were people there that went to see Daniel Sturridge. Daniel Sturridge wasn't even included on the bench. Now, I don't look, I can understand why people get upset. I'd be upset also. But people have to just relax. He came out of quarantine only recently. He's only just met the players. He hasn't really played or trained in a while. He's not going to be fully fit. Now, I think Perth could just put him on the bench, and I know we don't want the A-League just to become this marketing thing and just make it sort of a carnival. But at the same time, you have to sort of know how to cater to the fans. Now, Sturridge was here. The next day, he's putting up, hey, what's popping in Melbourne? I told him come on 1-0, but he didn't want to. But yeah, like, come on. Then there was all these rumours going around that he wasn't used to a 4-hour flight, which Perth Glory came out yesterday, and Sturridge came out yesterday and said that's a load of shit. So, which is good, I think. Now, hopefully Sturridge plays or even just has an appearance on Sunday night against Melbourne Victory, we know Victory get fans. Now Amy Park will be full because if Sturridge is there, if they can say, hey, Sturridge has got to be there, that will get even more fans in. So hopefully he does make an appearance. Then we look at some even brighter notes. Geez, what a game. Melbourne City versus Adelaide United. Melbourne City with a 2-0 lead. Andrew, outside of the boot, in a boot, scores an absolute belter. I think Jamie McLaren got on the score sheet as well, first off. 2-0 up, you think they've got to cruise to a victory, but no. Adelaide United come back. Bad mistake by Tommy Glover in the 90th minute. Halloran scores a belter of a goal, a little from distance, get a little bit of a chip. Would you like some sour cream with that? And Adelaide United make it 2-2. So Melbourne City, they won their first game, but they're looking a bit rusty. I don't know. They're looking a bit. I know it's very, very, very early on in the season, but I think later on in the season, if they're continuing this form, then it'll be interesting to see what they do. But not going to look into it too much. But Melbourne City they're not as convincing early on as what people might have thought. But I don't think it's anything to worry about. Then we look at Sydney FC, another team that people thought would be right up there challenging. They still probably will. A couple of injuries still holding this team, but a 1-0 loss to MacArthur. Again, nothing was really. They had chances, but again, something was missing. Frank Corica, what are our thoughts on him? I think he lacks a bit of character, lacks a bit of animation. I think when they're desperate to change, I don't think Corica likes to change, which could be an issue this season if this sort of form continues. And if they can't find wins just by purely being a great footballing team, how can they change to get these results? So that's going to be interesting to watch. Something else that will be interesting to watch is Newcastle Jets, because that Newcastle Jets game was Wanderers was a belter of a game. Some embarrassing stuff halfway through, but it was quite good. Jack Rodwell coming on, possibly could have got a red card, but I think Newcastle Jets will be quite exciting to watch. I think they're going to concede a lot, but at the same time, if you can score and concede, it's the best of both worlds for a neutral fan. So I think Newcastle Jets, keep an eye on them. Arthur Papas, interesting to see how he does in a big job. Now we're going to look at the preview for this weekend's games. Starting it off on a Friday night, the Wellington Phoenix versus Western Sydney Wanderers. I seem to always disrespect Wellington Phoenix a little bit, not on purpose, but at the same time, I think Western Sydney Wanderers have got a lot of room for improvement because they didn't play that well against Newcastle. Some would consider them quite lucky to walk away with a point against Newcastle. For that reason, I think Wellington might get the win. I think they've got to get the win. I think they've got to surprise a few maybe. And I think this could be one of the games that sort of kickstarts their season, gives them the confidence booster that they need. We're taking now to Brisbane Roar versus Adelaide. Brisbane finally playing at home after being in Melbourne for 2 weeks. Brisbane, yes, a victory beat them 3-0. But Brisbane, they're not a bad team. There were parts of the game where they really controlled the ball well, sort of put victory on the back foot. I think Ivanovic has to start, the striker. If you watched last week's show, you knew that I was talking about him. I think Ivanovic needs to start because I think he's a belter of a player. And I think getting game time into him in the latter stages of the season, I think will really benefit Brisbane and him as a player. Adelaide United, on the other hand, Yengi, what a player, man. There needs to be more hype around him. Yes, he embarrassed Victory last year, but hey, there needs to be more hype around these young players. I love football, so let's celebrate these players. I'm going to go 1-1 draw. I've got to go 1-1 draw. I think both teams are quite solid, but are sort of maybe a little bit too, if you know what I mean. Now we're going to go to the Melbourne derby, but it's a fake Melbourne derby. Melbourne City versus Western United. Western United again, bit of a snooze fest. Connor Payne, the ball was in Jamaica, man. The ball was in Jamaica. Connor Payne put it in and Wenzel Halls taps it in. So they ended up getting a victory. Melbourne City, as I mentioned previously, there's still maybe a bit of rustiness still in there. I think Melbourne City will get the win. I think they'll win at 2-1. I think it could be quite a decent little game. Could be quite a little decent game. Diamante, though, he's still, man, that guy for an oldie, he's a baller still. Unbelievable player for Western United. Now we're going to go to another New South Wales derby. I don't even know what they call this. Sydney FC versus Newcastle Jets. And I'm going to go out on the limb and say Newcastle Jets get a 3-2 win. I know, 3-2 win could be a bit risky. Is there going to be that many goals in there? I don't know. Are Sydney got to concede 3 to Newcastle? Probably not. But hey, that's what you get here at 1-0. You get some tasty treats. Sydney at home, I think Newcastle could do a decent job on them. I'm going to go for a Newcastle win. We'll go to MacArthur versus Mariners, another New South Wales derby. MacArthur, they've just signed Mariappa, the Jamaican man he was at Watford. He's made appearances for Jamaica. I think that's a very good signing. Fullback can also sit in and play centre back if you need him to. I think that's a great signing for MacArthur. Yes, he's old, but some of those signings can be quite good for the A-League, but also quite good for MacArthur. I tell you what I do love at MacArthur. Lockie Rose. And my man's got L.A. Rose on the back. He makes him sound like a wrestler. L.A. Rose. He scored last week. He's a showman. So L.A. Rose. Every time it's not Love Rose, it's L.A. Rose. It's got the lights. It's got Hollywood on him. L.A. Rose. How's it doing? I think MacArthur will get the win here against Mariners. I think a 2-1 win. Take it back. I think a 1-0 win for MacArthur could see them do the job. And then we go to the blockbuster game. Melbourne Victory get another Sunday game. Don't know why, but we do. Melbourne Victory versus Perth Glory. I tell you what. I said it in my prediction. I said Melbourne Victory got to win the league. On Twitter, people are having a go at me saying, "What are you talking about?" I know what I'm talking about, okay? I do. And it might not look like it, but I'm not as dumb as I look. Melbourne Victory will win the league. I'm going to put it there. Jake Brimmer, baller. Ryan Marshall, the Spanish midfielder that we've signed. He does the job quite well. He's a lot taller than what I thought he was. He's a very good little player. Brulante, we know how good he can be. Economidis wasn't playing. Hopefully Economidis comes back this week. We're missing Miranda. It's going to be very interesting to see what we do when Miranda and Speranovic are fully fit, because Brendan Hamill, let me tell you, he got the crowd on his back because he can win a one-on-one and he gets stuck in. And you could hear the fans. They were loving Brendan Hamill on the weekend. Who gets dropped? Does Speranovic have to earn his spot when he comes back in? Assuming Miranda comes back next week, Miranda can come straight in. When does Speranovic come back? I'm not sure, but those are three very good centre-back options fighting for the spot. Jason Gary is back. It's Jason Gary. Boom! That's right, I'm excited. But on the other hand, we can't disrespect Perth Glory because, as we know, Bruno Fornaroli, he's a man on the mission. He's a great player, and he loves scoring against Melbourne Victory as well. But in saying that, Tony Popovic is against his old mob. I think Melbourne Victory get the win here. I think the crowd's going to be buzzing. I think it's going to be a massive crowd. Also at Amy Park, 17, 18,000, whatever you want. I think Melbourne Victory get the win 2-1. Let's do it. Chris Economidis getting on the score sheet against his former team as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I'm Costa. This has been 1-0. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new. Let's make this the home of A-League. Let's make it. Let me know in the comments down below if you want me to do some vlogs also. And I'll catch you next week. Deuces.